Hey there, everybody. I'm back at the head of the table. Feels kind of good. Anyway, today we are playing Blades in the Dark, a game of thievery and bloodshed in the night-covered city of Duskwall. It's a game by Jonathan Harper. It's in early access right now on DriveThruRPG, and it's pretty cool. We're going to give it a test drive here, see what we think about it. We might do some more run-throughs of this after the more rules get released for it. Anyway, today we've got 5 players, Peter, Dan, Nick, James, and Amber. We're going to go through character creation and kind of talking about what the world's like on screen, so you guys can get a sense of how this works. So Blades in the Dark is a game about a group or gang in the city of Duskwall. And the gang has a specific purpose that you choose when you start the game. The book suggests starting off with thieves. Well, not really suggests, but gives you a scenario to start off with thieves. But we don't really want to do that, so we decided we're going to start off as cultists. Yeah, cultists. So, we'll get into more about what that means in a minute, but for now, let's go through character creation. So, let's just go around. What did each of you guys choose for your character class? There's a couple different classes in the game, but just go around and say what class you chose, and then what they do, pretty much. So, Peter?
I am playing the leech. Like a leech, I look at blood. I am knowledgeable about blood. Almost obsessed with it. My special ability will be Physiker, so I will be the surgeon on the team.
Okay.
So my character is of the slide archetype. It is listed as being a subtle manipulator and spy, but because we haven't started character creation yet, I do not have specific details, although I have some things in mind which will be fleshed out during the process.
Amber?
Yay! I will be playing the Hound, which is pretty much an assassin or a hunter. I think my special ability is going to be sharpshooter.
Oh, we'll go through that in a minute. But,
oh, sweet.
But yeah.
Okay, good.
So yeah, basically like a marksman type character kind of thing. Nick?
I am playing one of the Whisper class, and they're described as an arcane adept and channeler, one who can attune with the occult. There's a lot of occult going on in this world, and yeah, we are a cult in the occult.
And there'll be more of it if we have anything to say about it.
It's gonna get real confusing.
Yep.
Just you wait.
Oh, we did have a mole who has a mole who is also a mole.
Oh my goodness.
So last but not least, I am a cutter, a dangerous and intimidating fighter.
There you go. Kind of the knife fight bruiser bleeder guy in the crew.
I'm the anchor.
Yeah. Let's look at it that way. So each one of you picks a different.
Weigh us down.
I ground you.
Yeah.
Oh, you hold us in place while we are at the dock.
I mean, it might be good for the Whisper. Like, you can get lost in the veil between. So the first step in character creation is to choose a playbook, which you have already done, which is great. Playbooks are basically those character sheets that are in front of you. The second is to choose a special ability. Those are those abilities listed in the gray main section of your character sheet. If you can't decide on which one, or you're just like, I don't care, James, we're playing this once, get off my back, just pick the first one on the list. It's put there as a good option. So go ahead and look at those now. If you have any questions, which you probably will, I'll answer them, and then we can start answering questions about how the game system actually works by examining those. Peter, if you had already picked yours, go ahead and let people know what you're doing.
I am a Physiker. You can tinker with bones, blood, and bodily humors to treat wounds, stabilize the dying, or study a malady or corpse. Also, your crew gets a +1 die to long-term project healing rolls.
So what that means basically is that Tinker is an action in this game. It's like a skill you can roll. So Peter knows how to mess around with bodies and bones. And
It's so nice that you let me use your bodies for my experiments. So nice.
So nice.
I'd like to keep that on.
I also would like to keep this on.
Anyway, looks like Nick's picked his.
Well, I mean, as a cultist, I'm inclined to choose a cultist Special ability.
What is that?
Oh no, I am a cultist who is a cultist.
Right, no, but what is
It says
occultist?
you may consort with ancient powers, forgotten gods, or demons. If you have control over the entity, take +1d. So I'm not really sure
So normally,
what that implies.
normally
and
in
if
this
it's good,
world,
if it's
talking
good.
talking to ghosts and demons is something people just don't do because they're to normal people. Ghosts and demons and things are horrifying.
Oh no, they understand me.
Well, yeah, you know how to talk to them. You know how to speak their language so they don't just like rip out your soul instantly. Because with most people, that's what happens.
Okay, that's beneficial.
You see a ghost, they terrify you, and then they enter you and basically destroy your essence from the inside out. But you don't let that happen. You're a whisperer.
Such a terrible malady.
Oh, really? I
Consort,
thought it just... Is that what that is?
consort is another action which you can take within the game. Another skill roll similar to Tinker, except consort basically just lets you roll and like be buddy with them, ask them questions, communicate with them,
Got it.
mess with
Got
them. Yeah.
Alright.
So yeah, that's a good pick probably for a cult member. I mean, compel.
Yeah, compel says you can attune to the ghost field to force a nearby spirit to appear before you and obey a command.
Mm-hmm. So you can talk to them, you can't control them.
Right, but by controlling them, I can't talk to them. That's weird.
I mean, you can talk to them.
but this looks like you're controlling like really low level
Yeah,
things, and you're just talking to really high level stuff.
the key word there also is consort. It lets you roll your consort against them.
Ah.
So
Isn't talking with them controlling them in a way? As in you're trying to convince
Right.
a ghost to like, whoa, 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 don't take over my body. I'm not a good body. You would not have fun in this body. I have
ruined this body.
I have like just done tons of drugs. I don't exercise.
Donuts.
You
But
should take
only
that body out of
donuts.
yeah, so consort with connections from your heritage, background, friends, or rivals to gain access to resources, information, people, or places. So you can talk to ghosts. So like, hey, who killed you? There we go. All right. Anybody else picked one?
I have a question.
Sure.
For Ghost Hunter, it says your hunting pet is endued with spirit energy and gains
That's the one I was gonna pick.
Do I get a hunting pet?
Yeah,
Yes.
if you
For
if
real?
you pick that ability, you can get a hunting pet. So like you could have a crow or a wolf or like something surreptitious. I
You
mean,
can get a snake.
yeah, it couldn't be anything crazy like a tiger or
Oh
something.
wait, there's a
but-
weird thing about that.
Is there?
Because there's a 2-dot one, so
Yeah, that-
where in the character creation? Because there's a part where you earn another dot there or something like that.
Right. So you upgrade it. That basically means that there can be an upgrade to it.
I think that might mean you can get
I'm
another
pretty
one.
sure the rules said that you needed 2 dots to take that one, right?
What?
Did they? All the other times you see those dots, it's. Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Because
but
like you have to
okay.
get to that number of dots to choose.
To choose
that.
it. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you're right.
But I thought there was a way in character creation to get that second dot.
No, that's the dots they're talking about there, James, are underneath insight, prowess, and resolve. They're talking about your
It
actions.
says take this
Oh,
ability
okay.
again to choose an additional arcane ability for your pet.
Oh, okay. So you can
take
get
it the
once.
first time to give your pet an ability. You take it again to give it a second ability.
So the 3 abilities you have when you pick it the first time, Amber, are Ghost Form, Mind Link, or Arrow Swift. Basically, Ghost Form just means they can turn incorporeal, and like go through walls and stuff like that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Mind Link means you can communicate with them telepathically over large distances, and Arrow Swift means that they're quick. They're quick as an arrow.
Got it.
Well,
Okay.
does the hound always have a pet?
Yeah.
That's the
Mhm.
only mention of you have a hunting pet.
I want
I think if you like take it, then you have it, and if you don't, then you don't.
Well, it says your hunting pet is imbued with spirit energy.
Energy.
Not you gain a hunting pet. It's your hunting pet gains abilities.
I mean,
so
I
do you have to
suppose-
take hunting pet as one of the things in one of the other parts of the game's
Or do
creation?
you just
No,
always have a hunting
It's
pet?
not mentioned
Hound
anywhere
item.
else. It's,
A
Uh,
fine trained hunting.
Oh, it's
Oh,
just
there
right
you
there.
go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
so you just
And
have
it's
it.
in
Yeah.
italics, so it doesn't count against it.
Yeah. So yeah, you just got it.
Okay, so
Oh,
basically
okay.
it's one of the things you can choose to have when you go on your adventure.
Actually, you always have it. There's no reason for you not to take it unless you didn't want to risk it being in danger
Right.
because items on your sheet that are in italics don't count towards your load. So there's
Right.
no mechanical deficiency for having it.
Got it.
Quick question: is there any significance about an item being bolded?
I
couldn't
don't
find anything.
know. I didn't read anything
Oh,
like
okay.
that when I was looking through
I
it.
guess that's just really just important items.
Yeah.
Yeah, things that you really want to have.
Okay.
All right. So I have chosen my ability. If we're
Through that.
still going through those.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I am a ghost fighter. So I might imbue my hands, melee weapons, or tools with spirit energy. I gain potency in combat versus the supernatural.
Probably a smart choice for cultists.
Yeah.
Or cultist color.
I think my backstory. What was the name of the people who go and they bust the ghosts, or they bust the corpses before they become ghosts?
The Bellwether. Hold on a sec.
Crematorium, right?
Yeah, the Bellwether Crematorium.
Okay, I think I worked for them for a while,
Okay.
and that's where I learned my stuff.
I think
And they're like,
Ghost hand.
they're
It's
like,
either the Bell Ringer or the Bellwether Crematorium. Yeah, and they're
they're special operations unit where there's a risk of the corpse turning into a ghost before you.
okay. That's interesting. We'll get into that a bit more because I'm gonna have to ask you some questions about what exactly that means.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's good.
Danny Fenton.
Gaining potency there basically just means that so potency is a determination when you make a roll against something of how effective you are against it. So normal people, if you try to attack a ghost with a physical object, it's not going to be very potent because it's a ghost. But you have potency, so you can stab ghosts. Yeah. All right.
That's very useful for my line of work.
James, have you picked
I
one?
appreciate
Yes, I have chosen Ghost
We work
Voice.
together.
You know the secret method to interact with a ghost or demon as if it were a normal human, regardless of how wild or feral it appears. You gain potency when communicating with the supernatural.
Okay.
Wow, we are just ghosting it up. Are we?
Basically,
are we
he
gonna
calls him and I go, "Hey, bud, my friend here is worth talking to." I'm like an interpreter.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
No, I convinced them to talk to you.
No, you can't. You just have to get them up there. I'm the one who gets to automatically talk to them.
But I can sort with them, which means I like plan with them. And,
Do you have like a bolded word in that?
Yeah, potency.
Potency. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you or does it say like consort or command?
I don't think
Neither. It just says I know a secret method to interact with ghosts or demons as if they were normal humans, which means
Okay.
anything I can, any of this list of things that allows you to use with normal humans, I can use with ghosts and demons,
Gotcha.
Because-
You gave
yeah,
potency.
regardless if they're
This is-
feral or
Yep.
Because the
Wild
slide
nature.
is the slide is the talker, right?
yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
just means any other normal talking stuff they can do with ghosts too.
Interesting.
Because normally these things aren't usable unless you have something that allows you to interact with the ghost and demon world.
Amber, what have you picked? The ghost pet?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your pet?
Oh goodness.
Yeah, I didn't.
Do I
pick
come
a
back
ghost
to you
one.
in a sec?
Yeah, I have Ghost
Sorry.
Mind that I could have picked.
I think
It's
I
almost
could
the
have.
same.
I could have chosen Ghost Ward.
That sounds awesome.
Well, also, which special ability
Right.
did you pick?
Ghost Hunter. So your hunting pet is endued with spiritual energy and gains potency when tracking and fighting the supernatural.
Right, but which you get a special ability in addition to that.
There's 3 of them, right?
Yeah, you can pick one: ghost
Spirit
form,
Link. Oh.
ghost form, mind
Yeah,
link, or arrow
you
swift.
pick one of these 3 for the pet. When you first
Okay.
pick it.
Oh, Ghost
I want
Form's.
mind link.
Okay, so you can talk with it over long distances.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the next step in character creation is to choose a heritage and detail it with a note about your family life. So, for example, you'd be Sclovian ore miners. You then assign an action dot based on your heritage choice. Max action rating is 2. So actions are the skills over to the right side of your character sheet that are underneath the insight, prowess, and resolve headers. And they're pretty much self-explanatory, but if anybody has questions about what they do, I can read them off for you. What you want to do is pick a heritage, which will list a couple of countries there, and then say what your background was, what your heritage was. Like, what did your parents do? Where did you come from? Just to give you more of an idea of where you'd like to be from, I'll read you a bit about the world here. So, Akoros, which is the continent that Duskwall is found on, is dark forests, rocky hills, and rich coastal cities, and some mining colonies deep inland. Severos is windswept glass plains. Outside the imperial cities, some native Severosi still live in tribes, scavenging the Deathlands on their ghost hunting horses. Eruvia is golden deserts, and people say that some positions of power are openly held by demons there. The Dagger Isles is a tropical jungle. People there live without lightning barriers. How do they manage that? In Skovlon, it's a cold, mountainous wild. It's also the last holdout from Imperial control. So the Skovlon are like, we're not going under the Empire. We're resisting. Tychros? I think that's how you say that. Is a far-off land. Tycheros is a far-off land disconnected from the Empire. People say that the Tycherosi, rudely called strangers, have demon blood. If you play one, tell the group what your telltale demonic feature is. And then the world in general, the islands have widely different climates due to magical weirdness from the Cataclysm. The water of the Void Sea, which is the sea that goes between all of them, is composed of like an opaque black ink, or it seems to be. But it's possible to see constellations of shimmering stars far below the surface. The sun is a dim ember, providing only purplish twilight at dawn and dusk, leaving the world in darkness otherwise. And then a little note under that says, don't expect realism here.
Alright. That's good that they laid that out.
Yeah.
So depending
Yeah,
on
I'll go
which
with what I
heritage you
picked
choose,
first.
depends on which.
So there's really nothing in the game that
Just
defines what you get. So like you just basically have to fictionally rationalize it. So
Okay.
if you're like, hey, I'd like a point in finesse, which is, I'd like a point in finesse, which is like picking pockets and stuff like that.
Did you print out the list of what these abilities are and how they are?
I thought it would be on the player reference
It's
sheet.
part of the
But it's
character creation
Okay,
page.
I got it right here. Like finesse is an item, you finesse an item from someone's pocket, you employ a subtle misdirection or sleight of hand, or you handle a vehicle or a mount. So like it could be like, I used to ride ghost horses from Maruvia, and so I have finesse with stuff like that. So I was a horse master. No, I didn't, James. If you have any questions, I can answer you. I'll just read them off, actually, if you guys want that. You attune to spirits in the ghost field, so you can channel ectoplasm energy, perceive and communicate with ghosts, and understand spectrology. You command obedience with your force of personality. You can intimidate or threaten, lead an action with one of your crew's gangs. Consort with connections from your heritage, background, friends, or rivals to gain access to resources, information, people, or places. Finesse an item from someone's pocket, employ subtle misdirection or sleight of hand, and handle a vehicle or mount. Hunt a target, gather information about its location and movements, and attack with precision shooting from a distance. You can prowl about unseen and traverse obstacles, climb, swim, run, and jump and tumble. Ambush with close violence, a backstab, throat cutting, blackjack, etc. Skirmish with an opponent in close combat, assault or hold a position, brawl, and wrestle. Study a person, document, or item with close scrutiny to gather information and apply knowledge, gain a deeper understanding, or do research. Survey a location or situation to understand what's going on, sense trouble before it happens, and gather information about opportunities or exploits. Sway someone with charm, logic, deception, disguise, or bluff. Change attitudes or behavior with manipulation or seduction. Tinker with mechanisms to create, modify, disable, or repair. Disable a trap, pick a lock, or craft a safe. Use the ubiquitous clockwork and electroplasmic devices around the city to your advantage. And wreck, a place, item, or obstacle with savage force, or carefully applied sabotage, and breach defenses with force, create distractions, and chaos. That's the basics. I mean, they're all pretty self-explanatory. What you'll basically do is tell me what you want to do, and say how you're doing it.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you
we'll
what to do.
figure out.
Yeah,
what
I think
to
the
do.
only confusing ones are like Tinker and Attune.
Yeah, a tune is like
Because it's
dealing with ghosts and stuff, and Tinker is
Yeah.
dealing with
Tinker's like
machinery that
physical
applies.
well, Tinker is just like make a thing.
Yeah.
So do we have points to
Yeah.
put into these?
So you can't have more than 2 dots in any beginning action. This heritage here will give you 1 dot to put into actions, and your character already starts with some filled in.
Yeah. So, we'll
So
start with 3. It
to,
looks
to
like
put it in total, you get 4, I think.
4 to put in.
Yeah, you get 4. 1 from your heritage, another from your background, and 2 more that are just assigned 2 more.
Oh, so it matters which one we pick then?
No, it doesn't. It's just you get 4.
Oh, you like-
one is technically from your background.
So you
one
like
is
can
tec-
attribute it like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
attribute it to your heritage and your background to give
Okay.
yourself character depth.
So, for
like,
example,
okay, I like that.
I
like
have
that.
1 point in skirmish because I grew up in the in a Koros, a mining town, where it's very tough, and you just grow up fighting people to pass time.
Okay.
I grew up in the Dagger Isles where we consort with the beings from beyond the veil, such that we don't need fences.
All right.
We live with them peacefully,
Cool.
but we also sacrifice to them regularly.
I used it as a way to get.
Interesting fact: there used to be in the early editions of this game a murder skill, like murder was an action you could take. That's since been updated.
Yeah, I'm glad that's taken out because that's just like,
That's silly.
how would you take murder when you can just do like
Well,
kill them?
cool. Skirmish didn't used to exist,
Oh, I
So
see. It was
murder
murder
so it
instead.
was just murder instead. Yeah,
So the harsh mountains was Scavorian, correct?
The harsh mountains.
the Norns.
Oh
basically.
yeah,
What
yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
what was Aruvia?
Aruvia is the country that Duskwall is on. It's like
Okay.
England.
I thought Akaros was the.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah,
James.
Akaros-
Aruvia is the desert
It's the
realm
deserts.
where they make like the special metals that are good sword fighters.
Koros is the plain Jane, coastal towns, forests, and mountains.
Wow.
Is Underworld like criminal Underworld?
Mhm.
I guess I'm noble.
So if everybody's picked those, let's go around and see what we did. So James, what did you do?
I'm Tychorosian. My demonic heritage trait is my left eye is a jet black dark orb that absorbs light instead of reflects it.
Okay.
And it has a vertical and a horizontal double lid system that blinks both ways.
Okay. Cool.
And
Wow.
my role before coming here was that I was a runner and interpreter for like the important people, either going on errands or like showing up and saying, "I just summoned this demon. You need to interpret for me so that I can offer it my soul in exchange for whatever."
So why are you now on a Koros in this cult? Like what forced you to move?
Primarily because
I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves because we still have the background as well.
Well, I just want to ask him questions about
Oh,
this
okay.
so I can define it.
primarily because as a runner, you're always a servant to someone who actually is consorting with the powers.
Uh-huh.
And I'm realizing that here I'm locked into a role that everyone already knows. It's like, oh, it's always that kid who's just going to be the one we call upon. At some point, I need to go someplace where my powers seem more amazing and powerful so that I can be respected for it, as opposed to here. It's like, oh yeah, we're all demons here, so you're not special at all.
Okay, cool. So Duskwall's the perfect place to do that. Okay.
Oh,
Anybody-
and I picked the command dot for that because apparently with an eye that looks like this, it's pretty intimidating, and I can get people to like, give me your watch.
Yeah.
I'll eat your soul. Little kid.
Suck your soul out through your mouth. Okay. Peter, what did you pick again?
I grew up in a small mining town
Mhm.
in Akaros. My parents were miners. My grandfather, my grandmother were miners. Everyone's miners. We grew up there.
I can't drink at all, huh?
I can't drink. And the only way to survive is to fight. You fight the earth to get the minerals. You fight each other to get fun, to get on top. I hated it.
Okay.
I had to get out.
Did your friends and family constantly getting beaten up like strengthen your leech skills, like your physical ability? Is that what first drew you to fascination with body parts and blood?
I was not a strong child as a kid, and so I had to come across other methods to cripple my opponents. It's funny how so few think of the Achilles heel. It's such a small piece, but if you just one snip, just one, the whole leg, the whole comes from.
All right.
I was hoping it was the first time someone's like arm was severed and landed on his lap. And it's like, oh, Mom, I got an arm.
He's like, finally.
Dan, what did you choose, Cutter?
Okay. So I grew up in Akros on the streets of Duskwall.
Okay.
I'm a local,
Hometown boy.
a townie as they call
All right.
them. And I spent my youth running around the streets, but I eventually got sort of somewhere between recruited for and press ganged into Bellwether, and ended up sort of enjoying it and rising through the ranks, and ending up in their special operations group in like weird situations that they can't send the normal grunts to.
Mm-hmm.
So I called that a law background. It's sort of law.
Sure.
Sort of law, sort of military.
Part of the government, anyway.
Oh, are we doing backgrounds as well?
I mean,
we
James
can,
did
we can
his.
do it in a
Oh,
minute.
Yeah,
I didn't do
I did
mine.
background.
We'll do that in a minute.
Well, that was part of what he said was
Ah.
part of this, where you had to explain your background. The appearance thing just unique to Takarosians.
Well, background is like who you were, where you came from.
Okay. Sonia, I took for the Streets of Duskwall. I took survey as my my dot
Okay.
because I learned how to keep my head on a swivel and really
Pay attention to things.
pay
Okay.
attention, look for both the good and the bad in any situation.